They weren't in my
never know. You know what I'm saying? You maybe. That was his.
So the guy's doing a really good job.
This woman has an eye in the way.
And welcome one and all to another episode of Unpopular Review, where the Havoc after Halloween Havoc has come in 48 plus hours later after all the shenanigans that happened on Sunday with the person that's dressed up for tonight, Sabrina Estella, Wrestler Doll, an official camera woman, and to my left, looking like the right to y'all, Ron could not be here tonight, so joining me again for the second time on Unpopular Review, joining us from the Smackdown Penitentiary, the one, the only, the Z is silent, except for now.
The powers that be have finally let the tag team that they didn't know that they needed be a tag team once again. This is great. This is great. Chaos is amongst us. Chaos is amongst us. How are you doing tonight? I love the Nikki Bella look. Is this your first time doing this, or is this like a thing that you've... Oh, I like the look. I like the look. Steve, clearly she's fearless. Nikki is fearless. Bree is Bree mode. Are you a wrestling fan, Steve?
Listen, if I had to pick between Nikki and Bree, for most part, I would pick Nikki over entrance, music, in-ring work, mic work. I'm just more Nikki than Brie. That's just me.
Yeah, Nikki has the sex appeal. Nikki has she's a better talker, but I think the mom thing really helped out Brie a little bit more. Maybe even though they're twins, it made Brie look a little bit more prettier, like natural beauty. Not saying that they're ugly, but it's like, you know, like when women get pregnant, they kind of get that. I don't know if it's a glow or not. People call it a glow. I never saw a glow in my child's mother's eyes, but then again, she doesn't like me, so whatever. Halloween Havoc. Let's go.
Well, I'm just going to be real quick about Halloween Havoc, and I'm just going to say real quickly what I thought of the matches, like real briefly. First match, North American Championship was good. Women's tag match, my favorite match of the night. Ambulance match sucked. I thought it was meh, and the ending was meh. Women's gauntlet match for the North American Championship belt. Smart idea. I liked it. Didn't pick quite who won, but it's fine with me. And the final match, which was Ethan versus Trick. Good match. Ended how I thought it would. Overall, it was fine. Just the medal match was blah.
I thought it was a pretty good NXT show. I don't critique NXT the way that I do any other show. But I also don't enjoy NXT the way I enjoy every other show. Like NXT, I have absolutely no expectations, and I'm always blown away every single show. I think if I could just translate that to Raw and SmackDown and AEW, maybe I'd enjoy them a little bit more. But for NXT, they absolutely get a clean slate for me every single week, and it makes me enjoy it every single time.
Well, can't go wrong there. NXT was good tonight. And we started off, interestingly, with the casket match, the first ever women's casket match. And if I hear in the comments from a couple people that we know saying like, oh, of all people to give it to, Tatum, Paxley, Wendy, Choo, they don't deserve, they're not big stars enough. Who cares? It doesn't matter how big you are. If you're given an honor like that, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And all I can say is shout out to Tatum Paxley, because when she came out, I recognized immediately what she went for. Now, some people saw and thought immediately Alice in Wonderland. Similar, but no, it's the Alice Darkness Returns video game. That's what she was going for. while Wendy Choo was
Nice.
San Francisco Nightmare Before Christmas.
Wendy Choo, listen, when Wendy Choo came out, whoever did her makeup, if she did her own makeup, phenomenal job. Her makeup was so thorough and so good, I literally thought she had an Oscar mask on. I'd never think that every time she comes out there, but I literally thought she had an Oscar mask on. That's how dope her. I think that's how full her makeup was. But both ladies had a really good look. I thought the match was really good to be a first ever women's casket match. Like, you don't have anything to compare it to. Like, you can't compare it to a men's casket match because it's men and they're women and they move at different speeds. And not to mention, those were veterans doing that, and these ladies are amateurs, so to speak. And I thought it was really good. They had some creative spots. The spot where Wendy Choo got thrown off of the casket onto the little bed, but that was dope. The little the move in the turnbuckle to the dollhouse, that was dope as well. So it was a lot of really good spots for them. And both ladies did phenomenal, in my opinion.
Onto the ring because everybody knows stepping on Legos hurts like hell. So imagine getting suplex or thrown into those.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good match. Really good.
I mean, I enjoyed it too, but everybody knows that women's wrestling, can't complain about that.
No.
The Tatum Paxley finally gets the last of her revenge on Wendy Choo and closed her into that casket. So I very much enjoyed it. So I had no problems with this match.
I was very confused when both of them were in a casket and the casket closed, and then commentary had to I was about to say the person had to close it and it couldn't close by itself. I thought that was a little cheesy, but I could have went for the double closeout. I would have been fine with that.
Not for me. Not the first casket match. You know how many people have been complaining on social media, especially women's wrestling fans? They are a big, hard fandom, and I follow a lot of those people on Twitter, so I would know. Hell would have broken loose. We wouldn't have to wait for New Year's Eve for hell to break loose. It would have broken loose on Twitter for the women's wrestling fans if that had happened.
I liked it. Either way, I would have been fine with it, but I think now, as you make that point, the internet darlings probably would have went ape shit. So that is the right call. But for me personally, I could have had it any other way, and either of the two ways, I could have had it.
All I would have to say when I saw that, and I was like, there is no way they were going to have the first ever women's casting match end in a draw. I would not have been happy with that. I mean, I wouldn't have complained on Twitter because that's not me, but I wouldn't have been happy. I'd have waited for other people to complain so I could just reposted it after.
Yeah, true that. Oh, condolences to you and your family for your second father figure. I'm sorry to hear that. So I hope this show takes your mind off of things. No bad guy, Jack. Look at me. I'm the captain now. He's been replaced.
Only for tonight. He will come back. So y'all don't get it twisted.
Hi, Charmaine.
Hi, Charmaine. So after all that, we get Trick Williams making his entrance into the ring with the mic on. We get in the whoop that era once again. He talks about walking through the Devil's Playground, beating Ethan Page, retaining the belt by beating the hell out of him. He can't lie. He's in pain, which I'm just going to say this. I'm going to make a quick comment. Does anybody know if they did any house shows during that weekend in Pennsylvania? Because Andre Chase and Rich Holland were moving in that ring like they had just put themselves through tables, ladders, and chair match like 24 to 48 hours ago, and they were moving like they couldn't move. That's what I was wondering with that. But anyways, Ethan Page comes out to interrupt, tells everyone that he put him through pain that he never felt before, and he felt that. But he couldn't say anything about Rich Holland jumping him during that after the match, and that there's one reason why he's not in the hospital right now, and that's because he wants to talk to Mr. Bubba Ray Dudley, who he thanks for having his back. Bubba said, "You don't need to thank me. He was just doing the right thing. It wasn't about you. It was about Trick. It was about Rich Holland disrespecting him and Dave and their radio show, and that he saw Trick and he's like, why nobody came to save you?" and asked him if he knew why. And it's because you got a big old target, and it's that championship belt.
Mm-hmm.
And they're what he aspires to be. Have eyes on the back of your head. And Trick says he hears him, but he wants revenge on Ridge and Ethan. And he asks Bubba Ray, can they tag? And he's talking up, hyping up. Maybe I'll put on the camo, the tie-dye, maybe put on the glasses, do a little 1, 2, 3, get the tables. But he says, I appreciate it, but he can't take a spot from somebody on the roster.
I listen to Busted Open every day religiously. If I'm not watching pro wrestling, I'm listening to Busted Open. And so I heard this ever since Halloween Havoc, literally like the past 2 days. This is all they've been talking about. So I knew that Bubba Ray was going to come there because he literally was saying that his flight had landed in Florida, and he was asking people whether they thought that he should confront him behind the scenes or on camera. And I knew that he was going to. I was hoping that he wasn't, but he was saying everything that he said in verse towards Trick. It was everything that he was saying to the callers, in which he didn't want to take anybody's spot, and which I get it. He's probably right because he does like the development. He's put a few people through his Team 3D Academy that have landed on NXT, so I get it. But it's the ECW arena. You're not gonna not go there. Like you're not gonna not
ECW arena, have a WWE show and not have at least one half of the Dudley Boys in the ring.
Exactly. I mean, we got Devon, who did the cameo for Trick Williams' music video. So yeah, that's cool. We can't get. I don't think Devon can get any physical. He can't get physical anymore. Anybody in the chat, if you can correct me on that. He can or he cannot. He can. Okay. I thought that he couldn't. But it makes sense. Bubba is still doing lots of stuff for everybody. He just did a joint with Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling where he faced Jinder Mahal over there. He just did something with Matt Cardona, so he's pretty active. The only thing is, I wish they would have let him use the Bully moniker and not Bubba, because Bully is a little bit. He's a little bit more ruthless, and I just think Bubba can never be taken seriously. And with a name like Bubba, I've
used it outside, but that's the moniker he's more known for in WWE, which is why he used it there.
Yep. So, I don't think that. I thought that what he said was a really good. It was positive for the. It's very political. Like, yeah, I would, but I don't want to take anybody's TV time. Right? You can go get somebody else in the back, and I thought it was a good swerve. I knew there was some way that he was going to reel him in, but I'm sure we'll get into that later. I don't want to jump ahead, but great segment. I thought the segment. I thought the dialogue between both of them was really good.
Indeed,
Bully is his heel persona. Yes. Oh, Devon cannot really be physical.
He was nodding yes when you asked if he cannot do anything in the ring as far as for Devon. So after that, we get Ava Rain backstage saying that would have been a pretty good team. And then we see Rob Van Dam, who joins us backstage. He says he'll be happy to be part of the show next week. And that Ava says, well, come up with something to do. Meanwhile, Kelani Jordan comes in asking for a one-on-one rematch with Fallon and Henley because Lord knows that all the members of Fatal Influence cannot fight without each other. But before Ava can answer, the one that this one here refers to as, and I'm not going to say it because I know he will, Nikita Lyons comes in, tells her that she blew her shot and to put her name in the ring for a title, to throw her in the ring for a title match. And Kelani says that she's going to take care of her and that she'll get her title back.
The culture vulture.
I don't like saying that about Nikita because I was there since day one. You can say it all you want. I don't care.
I get it. She's thicker than a Snicker. Nikita Lyons. I get it. cool. But after watching her on those dating shows, those terrible dating shows, it's not even like the Bachelor type dating shows or something that has
Flavor
like
of Love type.
it's like
dating
that, but like it's that, but even more ghetto. And like it's only on I forget what streaming service is on. This is on some I don't know what's worse. Like I don't know what the streaming service is, but people are paying like $7 for it. And all it plays is just ratchet stuff. I don't know. But she was on there and she lost. She was trash. She never even wanted to be a professional wrestler. She never wanted. Listen, she got hurt. She got replaced. You know, she got replaced by somebody who's a real MMA fighter in Valerie Loretta. That's what she got. She got replaced by her. And then she comes back. So it makes sense that they had the match between them two. But she got fed. Loretta got fed to her. But in a real fight, I'm not taking that karate shit over MMA. Not Nikita. I just feel like Nikita's a pretender. Like I just don't. She pisses me off. That's it. She's a culture vulture to me. I don't like her. I don't like her. She's all on TikTok. Just never mind. Next segment. Go ahead. I just got heated.
I know, and that's why we can quickly talk about the next thing, which was Sean Spears talking with Brooks Jensen. They walk over to Tony D. And before
real quick, I'm sorry. Whoever did Kelani Jordan's makeup, she was looking really pretty. That matched with her ring gear, and she had like the pink blush with going into the blue eyelashes. I mean the eyeshadow with the pink on top. That was really good. I'm just saying, really good. That's it. I just had to acknowledge that.
Yes, indeed. She looked very pretty. But we do, like I said, Spears, Jensen walked over to Tony D. Before they could even say anything, Luca Crucifino, Stax comes in. They get a voicemail for the Don to listen to. And they're like, leave. Both of y'all leave because y'all ain't relevant in this conversation. Leave. And it's someone complaining, saying that he didn't say they were coming to Philly next week. And that he explains to Stax that they have to come and take care of the guy next week.
Who was on the phone?
Someone from ECW named Musico or something like that. That's what I saw.
Okay, so I was closing my washer, and I heard the voicemail. I'm like, is that Rey Mysterio? Like the way he was pronouncing his words, he literally sounded like he was Mexican.
That guy.
And I'm like, why would Rey Mysterio be talking to Tony D'Angelo? But then I heard it after on commentary that they said it was Nunzio. I get it. If we're doing this ECW thing, cool. I've never was a ECW fan. I didn't even know Nunzio was in ECW. I do know he was a jobber in Ruthless Aggression, the Full-Blooded Italians. Cool, whatever. But I don't think anybody from the Full-Blooded Italians can even match up to D'Angelo or his family. So it's nothing. The phone call really doesn't seem like it's that much of a threat to me in my eyes, because the Full-Blooded Italians was big trash in the chat. I'm sorry, they was really trash. So if you coming to talk to me and you ain't done nothing, I'm sorry. Move, leave me, please. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, apparently he's done something. He's been a big jobber, right? Your words. I never watched the ECW, so I can't say nothing about the guy.
He was definitely a jobber. I'm gonna actually I want to look up his if he has any accomplishments in his career. Okay, so he's 52 years old. That's a strike. 52. What are you doing? Get out of here, dude. Let's see. Championships and accomplishments. This is according to Wikipedia.
Which we know people can.
A two-time ECW World Tag Team Champion. I don't even care about this other crap.
Well, if he can't even win a championship by himself, then what does that tell you?
And he's a two-time Cruiserweight champion. So he never won the ECW Tag Team Championships when they were in WWE. He never won a tag championship, a WWE Tag Team Championship in WWE. He only won the Cruiserweight Championship twice. I don't know how long those reigns were, but I don't think they were very long. So, yeah, I wouldn't take no advice from him.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I know nothing about the guy, so I can't say whether I look forward to it or if I see the person as a threat. So I don't know nothing about him to say nothing. So I'm not going to. I'll be respectful.
Steve, you are correct. It was Tony Mamadou. Yep. And Tracy Smothers. I almost called that man Smithers. Yep. Tony Mamadou, whatever his name. And Tracy Smothers. Those were his tag partners. I don't know. Yeah, those were his tag partners. But anyway, enough about Nanzio.
Well, shots fired. And speaking of shots fired, we had the NXT Heritage Cup match happen with Charlie Dempsey with the No Quarter Catch crew versus Lexis King, and the only person who actually would go with him to help, because again, nobody likes you, Lexis. Not because they think that you're going to turn out like your father, but because of all the shenanigans and buffoonery you've been doing since day one. And the only person that would team with you was your opponent's daddy. It's like when you're a kid getting bullied when you're little and you have nobody to help you, so you go and tell the person's parents to try to see if that'll get them to stop. And 9 times out of 10, that didn't work out. That's what that reminds me of. But anyways,
that's what I got from that as well. Now, unless I missed something, when did Lexis like reach out to Regal, or did Regal reach out to Lexis?
Regal went up to him because
was this last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he wanted to able to force somebody to help him, and she's like, well, you can't make nobody help you out by force. That's not how it works around here. They gotta want to help you. And I wanted her to say, but because of all the shenanigans and buffoonery you've done since day one, nobody's gonna want to help you because nobody likes you, because nobody trusts your ass, because you've been nothing but a heel since day one. Nobody's not gonna help you because you aren't being like your father. No one cares about that. Most of the people that watch NXT now don't even know that you're Brian Pillman's son. Unless they used to watch AEW or look up your indie stuff, nobody's going to know because they don't talk about it.
The match was good. It's just the storytelling in it was a bit of a disconnect for me. And maybe that's because I missed that part last week. So it threw me off when like they were doing when he was coming out, and I'm like, Regal? And he's going against his son? Like, that's awkward, right? Like, let's not do this. Like, we've seen this before. Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair, when Ric Flair was allegedly or storyline wise busting on Lacey Evans. Like, just don't put parents against each other. We're over that. It's okay, but they don't have to be lovey-dovey. But still, we know who William's son is. Like, we absolutely know. Oh, we just lost Sabrina. What? Anyway, all right. This is NXT Penitentiary now. I'm just gonna say it's a bit of a disconnect for me that we had the dad on the other side. Like, if the storyline was the dad and Dempsey kind of having an outs or like a beef, and he's like, well, I'll get somebody over here to teach you a lesson type thing. Cool. I would get that 1000%. But to literally volunteer to go against his son, it was just a little bit of a disconnect for me. But the match itself, I thought the match was good. I think the pace of putting in like those little time breaks where it has different rounds, I like it. I like it a lot. It definitely gives a more competitive feel to it. And I think that's like NXT version of a what would be a X Division match in TNA, like the early days of TNA, where the X Division was literally the reason why you want to watch TNA, right? And the Heritage Cup, those matches can literally be a staple in this version of NXT, and why somebody would want to watch NXT faithfully. I think they should give it a little bit more shine. I think it gets forgotten sometimes that it is, I guess they're calling it a championship, even though it's a cup, but still a championship in their eyes. And the breaking up of the rounds in the match is really good. I honestly thought that Lexis King was going to at least tie it, and he got swept. And then Regal just looking at him like, "You fucking idiot! I told you." Like, I'm not a good lip reader, but that's what I interpreted. You fucking idiot! Look, I told you. That's what I got.
Well, I mean, he's been in the game for a very, very long time, and like you probably said earlier, it was like the Charlotte Flair, Lacey Evans, and Ric Flair thing. But the only difference was Ric Flair did that because he was a spiteful man to his daughter.
I'm sorry, bad guy. I'm sorry. Dempsey proceeded to beat Lexis King, and Lexis King got dominated. There you go.
Yeah, he did. So anyway, Dempsey won 2-0, which with the way that it looked like when the No Quarter Catch crew came in without their entrance being shown, I thought, interesting. Maybe they're going to give Lexis the cup because of that, because that's partly what they do sometimes. When you get that entrance, it's because you're losing. Not this time, but frankly, this match was fine, so I didn't really care too much for it. I mean, watching these kind of remind me of when I watch NWA for their television championship match, and they usually do it for about 6 minutes and 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah. I would say. So what? I know you. Okay, so you like NXT as a whole, right?
Yes.
Of course, you like NXT as a whole. Is there anything specifically that you absolutely have to tune into NXT for?
For the women's wrestling. The women's storylines does keep me interested more.
They absolutely. I mean, if tonight didn't prove to anybody,
it's why I watched WWE. It's why I watched AEW. It's why I started watching TNA, NWA. Any wrestling that I found that's broadcasted to the world, I started watching because of women's wrestling. Men's wrestling I got into a little later, but it's always because of the women.
There's nothing wrong with that. I will say tonight, I know that we say it here often. I know we've had some impromptu debates about what actually is the best women's division. I think tonight,
I already ranked it from all the companies I just mentioned. So
I think tonight NXT suspend the belief that these women, that NXT is a development brand, because they don't wrestle like a development brand. Their storylines don't go like a development brand, right? Like they have more. I would say that just because Raw and SmackDown, the ladies are a little bit more polished, but NXT they're a little bit more free flowing because they are learning on the fly. So they got a little bit more freedom, I think. They got a little bit more room to make mistakes and to know what goes and what doesn't go. But tonight they absolutely proved that they absolutely have the best
NXT has proven
division
before that the women's division can do better than the men. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, Sasha Bailey, an example alone did that. To the point where eventually we had an all-women's pay-per-view in Evolution, which again, women's wrestling fans want a second one.
Bring it back.
Bring one of the women's from NXT. It would be amazing.
Bring back Evolution, please. I thought that was a really good pay-per-view. Please bring it back, Trips. Bring it back, Trips. Since you wanna.
Got so many options to pick for it. I mean, NXT alone.
Yeah. Oh man.
And speaking of women's wrestling, we now go to Brynlee Reese being the one being fed for the debut of Zaria, formerly known as Delta. Listen, when I tell you that woman has worked the stiffest I'd seen a women's wrestler work in a minute. And as somebody who goes to independent wrestling shows and has for about over 3 years now, that was one of the stiffest. Like, I had seen stiff wrestling, but I had never seen anybody's bone pop out, and for the person that popped it out to put it back in and beat that person down to the ground. We thought Rhea Ripley was brutal. We thought Shayna Baszler down there was brutal. There's a new woman in charge of brutality in NXT right now, and her name is Zaria. Jada Parker better watch out. She's got some competition.
Oh Lord. Listen,
I just thought that the
Wendy.
debut went out the way that I thought it was going to happen. Until we get interrupted for her victory moment by Fatal Influence because they're all butthurt that she washed them all down to the ground. She dominated every single one of them in 3 seconds flat. They get upset and they interrupt her moment. Then the quote-unquote mean girls of NXT, as Vic Joseph likes to call them, Roxanne and Cora, come out to congratulate Fallon and then go out to help her. Then Kelani comes out in her Spider Lonnie gear, as I call it, since she basically looked like Spider-Gwen from the Spider-Man movie. And then we got Julia and Stephanie coming in to help. And then we get the former TNA Knockouts champion in Jordan Grace coming in to be the 5th person to help. And then with all that happening, they beat the crap out of all the mean girls. And the funny thing is the person that gets rolls out first is our new Women's North American champion in Fallon Henley. And then the person that gets thrown into all of them at the end is the NXT Women's Champion in Roxanne Perez, who got pinned by Stephanie Vaquero this past Sunday. So this should be fun. For those that think that Jordan Grace doesn't work here, she will soon because her contract is expiring.
It was surprise after surprise after surprise, and I said it over the weekend. Zaria is NXT's version of Jordan Grace.
And then we got Jordan Grace. I'm not even gonna lie. When I heard Thick Mama Pump's music, I said, "Oh, well." It's about to go down.
I don't have a crush on her anymore. I did have a crush on her when she was actually Thick Mama Pump, but she got her muscles now, and she would whip my ass, and I don't want that. I don't want that.
All these women could whip my ass, and most of them look about this big. Are you kidding me? They look as big as my pinky.
It's, you know what? It's the muscles. The muscles are a little too much. I'm cool with a little bit of strength, but when your veins are popping out, and to see Zaria and Jordan Grace like face to face with each other, I'm looking at them like, yeah, this gotta happen. This has to happen.
At some point in my
it absolutely has to happen.
Listen, this is what I think could happen. The Royal Rumble comes, they're both put in, and then they have a standoff, and then they fight each other for a little bit, like we have with Bianca and Jordan this past year.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And if that happens at the Royal Rumble, and I come on the air and talk about it and say I called this shit 2 months ago.
to see those 5 women face these 5 women, the camera shot was amazing, and I'm thinking like, wait, they don't have like Survivor Series or War Games. Like that would be a dope War Games match. But y'all want to give us a 10-woman
We are
tag.
getting Survivor Series. We're probably just going to get War Games with the men.
Yeah. No,
they better get us some with the women. Otherwise, again, the women's wrestling community on the internet will explode.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We've had some great War Games moments with the women.
I was really surprised that after all those ladies and they were in the back, that Rhea Ripley showed up. But looking at Rhea Ripley on the main roster, she towers over just about every person except for Raquel, Bianca, Jade, and Nia. Everybody else she towers over. And she's standing next to Delta, and she's only like an inch taller. I'm like, why am I so deceived right now? I really thought Rhea was taller than that. Well, but I guess not. She's like 5'11", 5'10".
Rhea is 5'7".
She's 5'7"?
And apparently Zara's 5'8". With them shoes she got on, that's why.
Oh my God.
Platform shoes will do a woman some service. It will give us some extra height. That's why I like wearing shoes like that when I go out, because it makes me look taller. I'm like 5'4", 5'5". I like a little extra height on me.
She's 5'7". Man, I'm telling you. All right. Shout out to Rhea for the high-waisted pants that she wears that make her like she got a long ass. Because those pants be making her look like she got
and the
mad
Freddy Krueger mesh top.
Yeah. The short tops with the long pants Definitely make her look like she's super tall. I am Googling this right now. I am baffled.
I just Googled it.
I am baffled.
And while you do that, and who do we think can beat Roxanne for the NXT Women's Championship? The one that pinned her at Halloween Havoc, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because Zaria is going to be going after Fallon.
I agree. I like it. Elvis, what do you mean? I've been here. What do you mean? Long time.
Long time no see for him.
For
and
him.
He's obviously going to ignore me because I don't agree with everything that he says because I'm not a kiss ass. Sorry, Elvis, but I'm not your Corey Graves or Wade Barrett. I'm not just going to brown nose and kiss your ass every 5 seconds because I don't agree with everything you say. If you want that, go watch the Raw review show on Mondays to watch EC since you like siding with him so damn much, even though he likes to drag your ass down to the ground.
Or just wait for somebody to say something wrong that EC doesn't agree with so he can just pop in for just a second.
Me?
So yeah.
Me. I'm his biggest rival.
You know what? Thank you for sacrificing your work time with us. It's greatly appreciated.
Yes, we do appreciate that. And speaking of some things that I think that people will appreciate, I think now might be a good time to have a little quick commercial break, and we will be right back to talk some more NXT Tuesdays here on Popular Review.
What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her AEW name?
It doesn't matter if she has the belt. She should be.
She's the CEO.
Yeah. She should be. Yeah, she should be.
Vince doesn't know what a CEO does, though. What a true CEO does.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
CEO.
She seems like a scaredy cat to me. Say that right now. She don't.
If you knew what a true CEO does, you would understand her position.
Yeah, she doesn't defend the belt. You're right. CEOs do shit. I understand. But what I'm saying to you is, you have her as a champion. She does nothing but take the back seat every single week. And then when she wrestled last week, she looked like complete garbage because she got thrown around the ring like a wet mop. I'm
not gonna lie. I'm gonna probably agree with you.
And Katie's gonna agree.
I do. I think she's not a great wrestler.
She's not. She gets her ass beat every time she's in the ring.
I know. I'm sorry. She looks great.
The first woman to main event WrestleMania 101. You are aware of that, right?
Yeah. Well, that was a mistake.
That's fine. I mean, she's great looking.
Sure, he doesn't.
I mean, she's great looking. I'm not taking that away from her by any means. I'm just saying I've seen her wrestle a few times lately in AEW, and it's not super impressive to me.
I'm not gonna lie. That's probably one of my favorite commercials that Vince has in.
Well, I mean, they're not. Him and Katie aren't totally wrong in regards to Mercedes. I can't watch her wrestle now because she's just not as good for me either as she was before. But anyways, we're back
WrestleMania 101. That was a mistake.
But anyways, we are back here on Unpopular Review, NXT Tuesday, the NXT show after Halloween Havoc with myself, Nikki Estella tonight, along with the Zia Silent joining us from the Smackdown Penitentiary, where we talk about all things NXT. While this one is probably still Googling how tall Rhea Ripley is, even though I just told him that she's 5'7". Listen, no. 3, 4, 5-inch platform heels and boots will give you wonders and give you more height.
You're not wrong, because now I see why I've been deceived most of my high school career, because those goth girls were always wearing those big boots and they had the lifts in them.
Here's the reason why we wear platform shoes like that. They're much more comfortable to walk around in versus the shoes with the teeny tiny heels. Most of my heels are chunky heels because they're more comfortable to walk in.
Huh.
They give you more secure. They're more secure, and you don't feel like you're about to fall every time you're walking.
Real quick,
how many times have you really tripped on shoes this thin? Like shoes with heels that thin. I felt like I was going to fall every time. Versus
how many? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying with shoes with heels that thick, I feel more secure. Now, what were we saying?
How big do you think this heel is? This is just a wrestling boot. How big do you think this heel is?
I would say a good 2-3 inches, possibly.
God damn.
I'm just looking based on the bit at the bottom. That's all I'm looking at.
Yeah, the heel. Yeah.
The short, so.
Wow. I learned something new every day. I just learned Saturday that Triple H was wearing I just learned Triple H was wearing lifts. Vic told me that, and damn.
Yeah, you can put those in your shoes too. That gives you more height. I mean, listen, Liv Morgan's 5'3", so her standing next to Rhea, she looks tiny than she already is.
You liars. They definitely been lying to us. Yes, proceed.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
They're on TV. They have on makeup. They have on clothes, and they'll probably do like some pinning and tricks and stuff to make the clothes look nice too and make them look nice. Have their hair all done. Nobody looks that good all the damn time. I know I don't. I have my days where I look like a hobo. And I'll say it. I don't care. But anyways, we have more women's wrestling and Kelani Jordan versus
Culture Vulture.
Nikita Lyons, who came out dressed as a pirate, while Jordan came out dressed as Spider Lonnie, as I will lovingly refer to her as, because I don't want to just say Spider Gwen, because I know that's what she's going for, but Spider Lonnie just sounds better.
It does. I like that. It's creative.
But the match was going well. It was going fine. It was going good for the both of them. But out of nowhere, Adriana Rizzo comes out, and she wants to fight Nikita Lyons because, as we basically figured out, she's the one that attacked her last week, probably. Why? Don't know. But after that all happens with the split-legged moonsault, nobody does it like Lonnie. 1, 2, 3, she gets the victory, which I'm sure made you very happy. And the post-match, which probably made him even happier, Adriana Rizzo gets in the ring, attacks Nikita. She gets out of the ring. And at first, Kelani's like, wait, what are you doing? She's like, no, she attacked me last week. Let me go at her. I want to go at her. And she's like, okay. And then lets her go through and dives on her. And then they keep fighting, and then they leave. Now, what did you think?
I thought that was great. Okay, 2 questions. One, does Adriana Rizzo and Brinley Reese... Wait, no. Is that it? Yeah. Adriana Rizzo, Brinley Reese, and Thea Hale all look like they could be sisters. Do you see that?
I mean, you said something similar before in regards to the alternative goth girls that they have that are blonde over in AEW, or made a comment similar to that. So that's their version of it over here. That's what they're saying.
They look like they got those like little like jawbones with the little chins, and I'm like, with the big lips. I'm like, yeah, you guys look the same. You guys all look the same. Not the same, but like they look like they could be sisters. Yeah. And my second question is, what looks better, Tiffy Time's moonsault or Kelani's moonsault?
Now, I'm not just saying this because I'm a bigger fan, but I like Kelani's moonsault more.
I thought it was pretty impressive as well. I think that I probably need to see it a few more times.
Didn't come into it being a wrestler herself. I think it's pretty impressive, and they mentioned on a commentary on Sunday. So
I think I like Tiffy's a little bit more, only because I feel like I can see Kelani like counting, making sure, like, I mean, of course you're going to make sure that you don't miss the ropes, but like it looks like Tiffany kind of does it a little bit more effortlessly.
Well, I mean, she's been doing it a little bit longer.
Yeah, so I get it, but like they're both right there, but I'd give Tiffy like the slight edge right now. But it's just something I was thinking about when I watched the match. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of dope. So
no, that's fine. But anyways, after all that, we get Ethan Page in the ring, making his entrance, getting in the ring, which I'm pretty sure the only person that I made happy in our group chat will be the one and only Miss Shay Sawyer. He says he's not
fighting for her life defending that man.
She will fight for her life defending Ethan Page, Finn Balor, Jay White. Those are the top 3 she will defend. If anybody can name me 2 more that woman will defend, please tell me.
She was fighting for her. She was fighting for her
people.
life on Saturday for the Motor City Machine Guns, specifically Alex Shelley.
Listen, Alex Shelley got on my list for my celebrity, for my wrestling crushes.
Chris almost made her leave the show. She wasn't even on camera.
I wonder why.
He's a bully. Oh God, I'm sorry. Ethan
Every
Page,
friend group has that friend that's like that, and that's ours. And speaking of bullies, we get Rich Holland coming in the ring, and he says that everyone is tired of Ethan and that he's had shot after shot after shot, but that he's going to be the one that knocks Trick Williams off his throne and takes the title. And he knows it because he asked Bully Ray to do his dirty work, and Bully Ray made the smartest decision of his life by rejecting Trick Williams' offer.
Does this count?
I counted it, so yes. Even if he types it, I counted it. Anyways, Bubba Ray comes in. He says he thinks it's time for him and Ridge to have a little talk. He said before Halloween Havoc, he didn't know much about Ridge. No surprise. But in the past 48 hours, he's learned a lot about him. He says no matter where he turns, people are talking about him. And what does he know now? He's a rugby player. He's shattered both his legs and came back in 8 months' time, which that's respectable. Reminds, first thing that comes to mind for me with something like that, John Cena 2008 Royal Rumble when he came back. But that's where the respect ends. He doesn't deal with disrespect. He's got one question for him. Do you know who I am? One half of the greatest tag team that's ever walked on God's green earth, has held more championships than Rich has had title matches and title opportunities. And whether or not he deserves a title match is debatable. But as far as all ego goes, he deserves nothing. Then he gets in his face and says the NXT universe will have a hell of a lot more from him if he's ever going to get a shot at the title. And Rich says, nobody cares what you think anymore. You're not an active competitor. You're just a radio host. All you do is sit behind a mic. You don't live in Dudleyville no more. Go watch old ECW and revel in your prime because it wasn't extreme. It was overrated. Go back to your little studio, complain about what's wrong with the current generation of superstars, because if he doesn't, Dave will have to look for a new co-host since Bubba will be in the hospital. He drops a punch on him. Ethan attacks him. They beat him down. Brooklyn comes, make the save. They send them packing. And Dudley accepts his offer. So thank you, boys, because he said no, but now because y'all put your hands on him, he said yes.
I like I was saying earlier, I saw this coming for the past 2 days because they kept whatever the relationship that WWE is blossoming more with Busted Open. It's really dope to see. As a fan of Busted Open, as somebody who looks at somebody like a Dave LaGreca as one of the people who inspired me to do what I do, and he literally just started in a small room, and now he's more worldwide. But he's not like worldwide. Like he's not like a Sam Roberts, and I'm not saying Sam Roberts is big time, but like I feel like Sam Roberts kind of sold out and just went for the bag. I don't really think he loves pro wrestling like LaGreca does, but to see where they come from, and it's what we did. It's the same thing that we do, right? So I felt like Bully was speaking on the behalf of people like us, who just love pro wrestling and just love to talk about it. And he's much more removed from being in the spotlight, but he is one of the people that he likes to see the talent. He likes to give advice to the talent. So I was rooting for this. I get what he was saying and taking somebody's spot. This was the most easiest way to get him over, right? All right, now you have to absolutely take Trick's offer, right? It's easy. It's sugar and Kool-Aid. It has to go together. And I thought it was great. I thought it was good. I thought that Ethan kind of sitting there while Bubba was running down Ridge. I thought Ethan could have did a little bit more besides waiting for his turn to get read down. Yeah, it was like, hey, look at me, but don't look at me. You know, like it was one of those things. But really good segment. I mean, we waited for the trick music to come out, and for sure, they send those guys out the ring, and he accepts it. And I guarantee you, we're going to get a 3D. We are going to get a 3D from somebody that is not Bubba and Devon. I'm all for it.
Well, I mean, we did get that in WrestleMania with the Street Profits versus the Final Testament, so to speak, when he was there as the guest referee. And you had said Ethan should have maybe done a little bit more, but I get why he didn't do as much as he probably would have, was because of what happened at Halloween Havoc with the stare down and then the comments that he made during the kickoff, the countdown, and then Ridge getting in their face after his match was over. So I get why Ethan didn't say as much. But also at the same time, you're thinking, where's the Ethan Page that was an American top team over at AEW, which was basically his best work over there? Because that's what I just mentioned.
You just hit a soft spot. I miss American top team.
I know you do.
I miss Scorpio Sky. I'm sorry. I just need a moment.
I don't have any tissues, but I'll pass you my white hoodie so you can cry into it.
Thank you. Okay.
So after that, we get the babyface half of the 10-woman tag of the 10 women that were in the ring going at it. And they're having a little moment bickering about how the match is going to go, who they want who to fight, basically. When Rhea rolls up and she asks them if they're ready. And she says it's going to be an amazing match and to blow the bloody roof off the place. Which I was just like, I didn't want that Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street mesh top, but now I want it. That's all I could say. And also I was trying to figure out what the hell shirt did they give Stephanie, because the logo, for a second, no lie, as someone who listened to K-pop a lot over 10 years ago and will listen from time to time, saw the logo and thought it was a BTS logo at first. I was trying to figure it out because I couldn't see because I was watching my computer. Because CW doesn't stream it live on their app, so I can't watch. And I'm not paying $70-some for YouTube TV for me to use once a week. But despite that part was good, so I enjoyed it.
Whenever you're trying to watch NXT, you should go on Twitch. There's a guy, I can't remember. I said this on SmackDown. There's a guy who literally shows the whole show. He does not get banned. He doesn't get copyrighted. Nothing. He shows the whole entire show, and then when there's commercial breaks, he plays old wrestling theme music. So you should look that up so you don't have to deal with any buffering and dropping. I'm trying to find a picture of Stephanie real quick, because I want to look back at that top.
I mean, I saw city names on it after it got clear, so I kind of figured it out, but that's what it looked like at first to me. So if anybody wants to call me out for being a K-pop fan, for saying that I'm like just one of those people, listen, I'd been listening since 2014, 3 years before they came into the U.S., performing on interviews, on music shows, and all that. So nobody can say that I'm a fan just because they came over. Nope, I was listening long before that. But
it looks like New York and Brooklyn, and
yeah, I saw a couple of things like that. So I mean, that was fine.
I don't really see much.
Yeah, I saw the New York and the Brooklyn. I just wasn't sure what
League.
the little squares there thing were.
It says New York Brooklyn College League. There's 5 stars. I don't know if that's 1906 or 1996.
I mean, if it's a college, then I would think the first one would make more sense than that.
Jesus, Jordan Grace looks short. Okay. Yeah, that's
Jordan Grace is a short woman.
Look at this. I'm sorry. I know we just talked about this, but look at this.
The power of platform shoes. The power of platform shoes. And there's probably lifts in those shoes too.
Look at her waist. Her waist is really right here. She's got like 2 inches of waistline over her waist. This is what I'm talking about. She got these jeans on to make it like she got a long ass. Look at this. She's as big as her. Look at Julia looking like, oh shit.
I mean, who wouldn't with them two right there? Who wouldn't?
That's a great look. By the way, Julia is looking amazing every single week. This woman.
Listen, Julia got on my list too. So
Japanese Italian. Oh,
yes,
that is amazing. That is amazing.
Listen, I got family from one of my cousins who he got together with the Korean woman, and their kids look absolutely beautiful. And he's Cuban.
Yeah.
Afro-Cuban Korean kids. That's what he has.
Yeah.
But before we get into our main event, which I kind of feel like should have started the show so we could have gotten the casket match last. Before we get into that, let's get into one final commercial before we discuss everything. We'll be right back here on Unpopular Review.
Welcome to the Smackdown Penitentiary.
No, it's not, because I'm reminded that this is not the Monday Night Raw show, right? So I'm giving y'all your show back. But at the end of the day, I'm City Exec Consultant. I'm just going to tell you what I feel. I lied. No, there's no way in hell they got a pop. They got no pop. Like, just because, no. Actually, I'm glad that Dice did that, because when Motor City Machine Guns came out, exactly what Dice did, half the crowd did. They walked up and they went to that. Like, I don't know what Dice was watching. I don't know what Dice was listening to. They did not get a pop. And Solo cooked them on the microphone. That was the best thing that happened. Solo absolutely cooked them on the freaking microphone.
Yeah,
I've
he's
never
getting
seen
better.
you walk out twice. Why did you walk out twice? I know why. Because what happened was
Solo Sikoa trashed them on the microphone. Are you kidding me?
100%.
All he said.
100%.
No, don't cut me off. All that man says, oh, way to make an impact. That was the most cheesiest shit.
I'm not talking about that.
On a fucking
I'm not talking
microphone.
about
I'm not
that.
trying
What's
to
his
hear
name?
that. Stop
What's his
it.
name?
I get it.
What's one of
I
his
get it.
names? No, just a second. What's one of the names?
No, it's not no more just a second. Stop.
Listen.
Stop. It's not what we're doing. Now.
That gets old. I paid the fucking bill. Look, it's crazy.
No. Can we get on with our show?
No, because I'm giving you my opinion on what happened.
When they were together.
There you go. So just on the Motor City Machine Guns. Just a second.
Yes, they've been.
Yeah,
No. Just a second.
They've been Ring of Honor champions. They've been.
Here's my point. This is why they got no pop last night, right? No pop whatsoever, because no one knows who they are. No one knows who they are. Yeah, they were on that 3 times. What the fuck? No one knows who they are. They showed up last week on SmackDown. All of a sudden, now they had a mid match.
How dare the executive contradiction disrespect our current SmackDown Tag Team Champions? I'm going to call it the SmackDown Tag Team Champions now because A, I don't remember what the new name for it is, and B, it's easier for me that way, and C, former ROH, New Japan, and TNA Tag Team Champions who beat down the people who hadn't defended that belt maybe one time and have had 3 matches and they've already won. Who cares? And they did get some pop. Maybe not a lot. And you say Solo cooked them? Yeah. And then the Motor City Machine Guns cooked them back real hard by taking them belts away. And we're back to Unpopular Reviews NXT Tuesday. I'm
sorry for everybody who has to deal with these Justice Seconds.
And the executive is the asylum.
Because they told
we're turning into a drinking game. Anytime he says it, we can drink of whatever we have.
Yeah, every time, yeah. Mike told me that I was responsible for Saturday's debacle of a show because I started this last Tuesday on Top 5 when him and Mike did it, and I kept a count. I still have this count on my desk of all the you can't say, never mind. All the Justice Seconds. I counted 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 56 Justice Seconds from just EC alone. And the fact that I just kept saying I'm keeping a tally and I kept saying that it was a Justice Second counter, I have now taunted EC to say just a second, in which he literally spent half of the SmackDown Penitentiary saying just a second. So when I'm cutting the commercials, that's literally all I hear is just a second. So I apologize.
Idea. For the next time you do that, you make a commercial, you should have a just a second counter on the bottom of the screen. And every time he says it, it goes up and up and up.
Yes. Yes, I like that. I like that. Oh, just a second. Oh. Literally,
So
we are blessed right now because he's backstage, but he's busy, and we haven't said anything for him to get unbusy. But I'm sure it's because he can't get unbusy. But he would definitely be just a seconding all over the screens. But we're coming down to the last bit of the show, so we can get this. We can avoid EC at all costs. This is great.
So the commentary hypes up next week's show, so we get a couple matches coming up. Of course we were, apparently, according to your standards anyways. We're getting the 10-woman tag match next week. We're getting a couple other matches coming up. We get backstage. We see that the referees are running onto the parking lot past Liv and Raquel because they beat her up bloody by the car.
Was this believable to you?
No. If it were just Raquel, maybe, but not with Liv there. She probably would have just been standing watching. This is how it would have worked out. Raquel would have been the one hitting her with the bat, and Liv would have been on the side watching to see if anybody was coming, and then she would have said, the coast is clear, we can walk off now. That's what that would have looked like. But this, with all that fake blood, that looks like an AEW taping.
If she comes to Crown Jewel with not a scratch on that beautiful face of hers, I will be offended. I will be offended. I am a man of imperfections. I like little scars. I like little marks. They bring personality. They bring cuteness. This perfect specimen of a face shows up at Crown Jewel unscathed. You lost all credibility. I'm sorry, you lost all credibility. But I'm saying, where are we at? This little part right here, if you blinked, you would have missed them because the camera was moving so fast. And I was like, I just happened to see like this part right when she got like right here is when I actually noticed, like, wait, who was that? Right? I was like, wait, was that Liv?
Listen, they both holding something. It's not just Liv holding the bat.
It's both of them holding like lead pipes. There's a bat and or they're both lead pipe, or they're both bats.
Or there could be lead bats, like from the olden days. Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, there was somebody there. And then I'm like, well, who drives that fucking car? So I thought it was a nice little touch. The WWE is making you tune into other things, other shows, and we're watching storylines intertwine and they're bleeding over into the other shows, which I think is a really nice touch. And they are making every single show can't miss. I mean, unless it's like main event or speed, but other than that, this is really dope.
It's only about 10 minutes because the matches are only about 5 minutes long, so there's not much to miss.
NXT has a hold up.
I could watch an episode of NWA Power and be more entertained versus watching 5 minutes of wrestling. And I prefer
NXT has the worst parking lot
matches for their television championship belts.
Yeah, I agree. Would you say 6 minutes and 5 seconds?
I just have to say this. Every company has an equivalent of a social media championship belt or television championship belt, and WWE finally does one, but you don't put it on TV. You don't even mention that these people are champions. So the one that complained backstage because he wasn't getting a title shot, y'all finally gave him one so he would shut the hell up. And then you give somebody who finally beat her longtime opponent in NXT one, and they can't even bring them on TV. They can only put them up on social media because that's where they can put them. Make that make sense.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Absolutely right. I never knew.
Make sense to me.
Listen, well, first of all, WWE just did the Speed Championship just to appease, right? Like it I don't even think the Speed Championship if it matters. It's just how many other variations of belts can we make? Belts
I don't know. At AEW, they've made like 20 belts.
Yeah, belts are the thing now for fans to bring to events, and it's like, I mean, what other variation can we do? We got a legacy belt here. We got this belt here. We got the crown jewel belt here with cubic zirconium. We got speed belt here.
That belt, I thought two things. I thought one, that belt is fucking hideous, and two, I'm like, really, y'all waste the money making a belt that's only going to be defended once a year instead of making a mid-card title for the women up in the main roster so they could have something else to fight over.
Exactly. George, you're absolutely right. I agree with Bad Guy Jack. I was about to say NXT has the worst parking lot in all of professional wrestling. Something is always happening in those parking lots. They need to get some Ring doorbells or cameras out there. It's not like they're traveling too much. You can have them stationary in the same spot. I'm just saying. I'm with you guys on that one. If she is going there and costing Liv, I'd be surprised. But honestly, I think Liv versus Nia is one of the weakest matches on the card because they really haven't.
Because it reminds everybody of Alexa versus Nia?
No, not that. I would be able to get into it if they interacted more. We've seen Cody and Gunther every week, and Nia and Liv aren't even
all these other stories they have with them up there with Liv and Raquel and Dom and Rhea, and then you have Nia and Tiffy Time breaking up slowly but surely. And then they included Candice and India in there because they don't get utilized on TV as much.
Agreed.
And speaking of people who hadn't gotten utilized as much in the main roster, we have Cedric Alexander with Javon Evans going up against Fraxiom for the NXT Tag Team Championships, which I thought the match was good. A lot of high flying, a lot of speed like I expected from all four of these men, Cedric as well included, because when I watch her Hurt Business stuff, he was one of the ones that did a lot of flying, besides Shelton Benjamin from time to time. Match was good. There were a lot of 2 count moments that I thought it was so close that they were going to take the belts away from them. And then around the end of it, you get Wesley coming in looking like, where's Waldo? And then he starts fighting Javon, and they start fighting, and then they leave, and then he leaves Cedric alone, and then it looks like Cedric's going to do it by him damn self. But he don't, and he winds up losing 2-2 with Chasing the Dragon, which is their finisher name. And then they retain the belts, and then Javon and Wesley are still fighting backstage. Excuse me. Ava's trying to break it up, trying to get control, and she's trying to say something about them too, probably having a match next week. And then RVD says, relax. I know what I want to do next week. And he'll see us in Philly. Which I already figure it's probably going to be like some street fight or some no-holds-barred match or maybe some no-DQ match, and then Rob Van Dam's going to be the special guest referee. And that was the end of the show.
I thought it was funny that Ava is literally yelling at these men, and nobody's listening to her. And then Rob Van
there's
Dam
2
just
black
comes
men
over
yelling
there.
at each other. It's really hard to yell over 2 black men yelling at each other when they're fighting. Shouldn't you know that? Didn't you know that better than I do? And I went to a school with half of the kids that were black.
See, she's yelling, stop, and RVD just comes over and is like, whoa.
Well, I mean, it's the power of Rob Van Dam, so.
Like, he just completely overshadowed her. I thought that was kind of jacked up. But even more so, Frazier and Axel.
Yes.
Should they have lost the titles by now, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, this is what I feel like, because they did the same thing with Dominic and Ray for a bit. You would feel like they were going to break up, but they didn't for a long time until they finally did. I feel like that's what they're doing with them two down there, because they always see it's like, oh, they might. It's like a will they or won't they? It's like a Waller with Theory, except with them, it's not a will they, won't they. It's a when are they going to? Because it's only a matter of time before those two break up.
Yeah. It pissed me off so much, and I thought that tonight, for all all 4 competitors did their thing. Cedric Alexander looked like $1 million, and he should have finished that match. He should have finished that match off. They should have won. They should have been new tag team champions. I get it. But
it would have been interesting if it had ended. He had won, holding up both belts by himself, and he would have been looking around, being like, "Where's Javon?" And then it would have cut to them fighting.
That's where I was going, because it looks like he's way too obsessed with Wesley, and he's not focusing.
To shut that boy's ass up. I can't say the N word because I am not that race. You can. I can't. So that's why I didn't say it. But he he wanted to shut that boy up. That's why he's so focused on him, because he wants to shut that boy up for all the buffoonery he's been saying to his face since day one.
I agree. Listen, I the cutter from Javon Evans is dope, but at the same time, I'm like, too many people are using this cutter move, and I thought that it was a Cody thing. I mean, it's different from the RKO, but it's still kind of the same as the RKO. I feel like they give it less.
Kind of slightly made up for what happened with Randy with the cutter last time, which is why it came out looking so epic.
Yeah. I just feel like they don't give it enough. It doesn't have that same effect now when Cody hits it, because every Tuesday somebody is hitting it, right? And it used to be like a signature move and Cody's staples of moves, but. Every
wrestler has their 4 or 5 moves that they always use, and some just happen to have that cutter.
Yeah, it
might be a move that's just easy for people to pick up and use, which is why it gets used a lot, like with the stunner or the super kick.
Yep, Bad Guy Jack is absolutely correct. The super kick is just, we can't even. There will never ever be Sweet Chin Music ever again. It's just Sweet Chin Music is just a super kick primed up. It's like you press the button on the lawnmower.
It's a super kick 2.0.
Yeah. AEW does mad cutters. Like,
listen, they do mad cutters. This is the same company that has everybody bleeding like every other day over there.
Every single day.
Every other day, they make about 20 different belts. They have, listen, this is the same company that has trios tag champions over there. I wouldn't be surprised if they did one for like factions of 4 or 5 or more people in it at this point.
They have a faction championship.
Would it surprise you? I mean, the man makes announcements every other weekend. I mean, every other show. And most of the time, the announcements suck.
There's a special announcement. Stay tuned. Make sure you catch us exactly at 8 p.m.'s special announcement. We finally got cable. We got satellite here. What's going on? Like, Tony, sit your goofy ass down. Whatever. What else we got? Was that it? That was
the end of the show. We didn't have anything super big happen. It was just Rob Van Dam saying, everybody relax. He knows what he wants to do, which, like I said, it's probably going to be, they're going to have a match. He's going to be the special guest referee, and it's probably going to be some kind of crazy-ass match so they can beat the crap out of each other. Like when Wesley went up against Zachary once, and they beat the crap out of each other.
Good night, Charmaine. Thank you for tuning in.
And like we said, that is our show. That was the NXT Tuesday review. I would like to thank Dice for coming in and being our guest here on the NXT Tuesday while Ron was not able to join me tonight. But
Bad Guy, you are treading a very, very thin line, Bad Guy. I'm telling you, we have a female warden for the Smackdown Penitentiary. That's what it looks like to me. I'm telling you, we are the tag team that nobody thought that they wanted to see. We are the tag team. It's like Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman, Team Little Big or Big Little, whatever they are. Nobody knew they wanted them. Or Robert Roode and Charlotte Flair, or
when they did the mixed tag matches back in the day.
See? It's the tag. It's Bayley and Finn Balor. We are the tag team that nobody knew that they wanted. That's what we are right now. That's all. Yeah. But
I feel like this is going to turn to a Casket versus Sabrina Estella match at some point, with the executive consultant being the special guest referee. That's what this is turning into.
Make sure you guys tune in. Thursday we have predictions for Crown Jewel, and we also have top 5 draft versus we have the North American Championship, and I will be moderating, and it will be Bad Guy versus EC versus Wrestling Doll in a triple threat showdown. And this is going to be crazy because there are only 19 North American champions. There are 6 slots per person. So there's 18 possible choices. That means one person is going to be left off of the board, and it's going to be interesting to see who actually is going to be that person. So,
well, we know who's going to be left off my board as well as the Great Grand Slam Puas, but it's not going to be left off of the executive consultant. So,
just a second. For those of you at home, every time you hear just a second, you see just a second, take a shot.
Exactly. As long as if you can't hold your alcohol, feel free to drink it if you are of legal age. Yes, team is awesome.
See that? I'm a prophet. I'm a prophet.
Are you turning into the Monday Night Messiah over here? Are you Seth Rollins?
Oh, I'm like the Black Pope D'Angelo De Niro 2.0. Oh,
or what it said, Reverend Devon?
Reverend Devon. Good night, Charmaine.
But
3-1. Oh, okay, George. Listen, I'm not keeping no more counts of just a second. I probably was off on that count that I have here on this piece of paper. I probably was off. Oh, no wonder it can't show up. It's green. I got a green screen behind me. Okay. Yeah, I probably lost count of those. So.
Listen, with him saying it as much as he does, it doesn't surprise anybody. We're gonna make up some rules for this when it happens. So,
bad guy, it is inevitable.
We're gonna have a UPR themed drinking game by the end of next year.
That would be great. Like Cards Against Humanity, but drinking edition and wrestling edition. That would be great. Like, who has the worst finisher? And then everybody chooses somebody, and then the moderator goes, this person has the worst answers, so they are the winner, and then everybody else drinks. We will never get through a show, but great idea though. We need more party games here at UPR.
Speaking of shows, there is something for everyone. So Monday nights at 6, you have the Mike Knox Show, the show for the intelligent wrestling fan. And as well as on Mondays right after Raw, you have the Raw Review with EC and Freckle Sensei. And next Tuesday with myself and the Great Grand Slam Pooba. AEW Dynamite Review on Wednesday with Cactus Katie, Dan the Man, and Venomous Vinny. Or if he's not there, then I don't know. Thursdays are top 5 and or prediction shows for any pay-per-views coming up. And on Saturday afternoons, we have Friday Night Smackdown reviews at the Smackdown Penitentiary with the Mark Vick and the Z is Silent.
Yeah. All Hallows Eve. Ooh, you know what? Do people even do Mischief Night? Is that a thing anymore?
I don't even know what that is.
Wait, you don't know what Mischief Night is?
No,
you're not. No, that's not a thing. People in the chat, this is not a thing. This is not. Wait, do you celebrate Halloween? You go?
Yes.
Did you ever go trick or treating?
Yes.
So you guys never egged and TP'd people's
No.
houses?
I went with parents and stuff. Everybody was walking around with their parents, so nobody could
Oh. Sounds like you were a goody two shoes.
I was a goody two shoes as a kid. Is that a problem?
No, it's not. But everybody should experience Mischief Night.
At school, and that's because a boy wouldn't shut the hell up, so I beat his ass up, chasing him out of the classroom.
Everybody should experience Mischief Night. That's all I'm saying. That's it. You know? Yeah. She was dominated. Sorry,
she got dominated by two by Zaria and Jordan. And you want to know why? Because it took 2 women to beat her ass down. Everybody else got beaten down by 1. So, Ron, I made it somewhat into a positive. And if you don't like it, I'm very sorry, but I tried.
I don't think this is happening right now, Jack. Not right now. He might throw a whole party. He might throw a whole show dedicated to JC Jane.
He already does. It's called every time we do a popular review on NXT Tuesday. And I know people who know her, so I don't care.
JC is his Bailey. We all have to have a show where we revolve around a single female. I get it. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know why it's not Jada Parker, but shame on you for shame.
Well, then listen, it's less competition for you here. So, yeah, and Freckle Sensei's on the air, so you're good.
I am good. That's it. Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about it, but great video packages by Valerie Loretta and Jada Parker. And I thought it was funny that Jada was like, Dawn Marie, I don't even know who you are. You get in my way. Like, I'm going to show you the same thing I'm going to show Lola. I thought that was pretty dope because I get it. Jada's like 25, 26. Of course you don't know who the fuck Dawn Marie is. I don't even know why Dawn Marie was even heralded as a special guest referee. I didn't even know she was in ECW. Like, I didn't even know she was in a remake of ECW. And I've watched wrestling my whole life. I still didn't. She was a non-factor, so I don't even know why. But great video packages from both ladies. I cannot wait to see that match next week. Next week is going to be straight banger, and AEW is going to be in danger. But that's all for me. I'm good now.
Indeed. And if anybody wants to follow me on social media, go on YouTube, Unofficial Camerawoman. I put up videos online, and you can catch wrestling matches there. What is it that you would like to say, executive consultant?
Well, you have to remember that next week, AEW and NXT are on the same time, which we just mentioned, right? But
the combo show.
Exactly.
Yes, I completely forgot to mention that it's on me. Normally, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, we do 2 separate shows, but because NXT will be on November 6th, we will have an AEW show.
Yes, too much to try to even moniker.
But we'll figure a name out. But yes, AEW and NXT will be going head to head on Wednesday next week.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this probably going to be like the first time that you're on air with like Vinny and Dan?
No, I've been on air with both before, but for NXT, not for AEW. Well,
this is going to be great.
For AEW review show for a pay-per-view, I was on with Vinny, and I nearly
This is going to be great. Bad Guy Jack, Sabrina, Vinny, Katie, Dan, Mad Dog. Oh Lord, they're gonna blow the roof off of the place. Oh, this is gonna be great. Next week, yo. I can't wait for that. Oh man, it's gonna be great. All right, that's it. I'm good now.
And with that, we wish everybody a good night and join AEW Review tomorrow for their review show. And then you can catch me and Bad Guy and everybody else from AEW next Wednesday.
Peace.